This is News 25 with Deanna O'Donnell and Unette Gentry. News 25, local news you can count on. News is brought to you by J.K. Nelson Law. Give them a call, 727-9900. Today's news is also brought to you by Gunny's Air Conditioning and Heating. New service and repair. Call Gunny's 775-727-6800. Also brought to you by Nye Communities Coalition. Nye CC is your one-stop resource for employment services. Visit nyecc.org.
Welcome to News 25 here on KPVM TV and Ace Country Radio. I'm Deanna O'Donnell.
And I'm Unette Gentry. It is Tuesday, January 24th.
Well, Nevada Governor Joe Lombardo issued his State of the State address on Monday night. The Republican governor once again drove home the need for everyone to work together. Lombardo wants to cut business taxes, suspend the state gasoline tax for a year, and make the single biggest investment in education in Nevada history and raise state employee pay 12% over the next 2 years.
As governor, I am filled with hope and optimism of what we can accomplish if we simply summon the will to work together. It is my intention to work side by side with all of you to write another chapter of Nevada history that will record that we did it the Nevada way. Never give up and never stop dreaming. I'm here to say to you tonight, our State of the State is growing stronger every day. But the pandemic laid bare just how vulnerable our economy is. And in an unexpected twist of fate, the pandemic also created, for the first time in many years, an unprecedented budget surplus. With this in mind, my remarks will be candid. On one hand, we have exciting opportunities within our grasp, but on the other, we must not allow ourselves to give way to the temptation to overspend. We must remain dedicated to the twin propositions of saving for and guarding against the next unexpected event that shakes our economy and rattles our livelihoods. As a former Nevadan named Samuel Clemens, better known by the pen name Mark Twain, once wrote, quote, "The secret to getting ahead is getting started," end quote. My fellow Nevadans, let's get started.
Well, here's a far-out story for you. The annual Death Valley Dark Sky Festival takes place this February 10th through 12th. You can explore the wonders of space from one of the darkest locations in the U.S. Join scientists and park rangers to learn about the cosmos and how Death Valley National Park has been used as an analog for the exploration of distant worlds. Most people in North America cannot see the Milky Way from their homes due to light pollution. Death Valley National Park is a great place to see the stars. It is recorded as an international dark sky park. The Death Valley Dark Sky Festival is a partnership between the National Park Service, Death Valley Natural History Association, NASA's Goddard Space Flight Center, Jet Propulsion Laboratory, Ames Research Center, Las Vegas Astronomical Society, and the California Institute of Technology. All Death Valley Dark Sky Festival programs are free and open to the public. Some of the programs are specifically targeted for families with children. For a full list of programs and lodging options, you can visit the park's website at nps.gov/DEVA.
Well, 2 attorneys have been appointed to the position of public defender here in Nye County. Longtime attorney Thomas Gibson did not make the cut. The board, however, did bring back Alexis Decker, who held the position in recent years.
4 candidates went before the board for consideration regarding 2 open contracts for public defender services. The candidates included Kelly Blatnick, Alexis Decker, Thomas Gibson, and Mark Shockley. 2 of the candidates, Thomas Gibson and Alexis Decker, are fully qualified under the Department of Indigent Defense Services regulations. The other 2 candidates, Kelly Blatnick and Mark Shockley, are DIDS qualified to handle up to Category Low B cases, but no High B or A cases. Thomas Gibson did not appear in front of the commissioners.
I'm licensed in 14 jurisdictions, and yes, federal jurisdictions count. Those jurisdictions include the United States Supreme Court, the United States Tax Court, the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals, the 10th Circuit Court of Appeals, the Federal Circuit Court of Appeals. Yes, Washington, D.C. does things differently. They have their own special Circuit Court of Appeals. The Florida State Courts, the Utah State Courts, the Nevada State Courts, the U.S. District Court of Florida Northern District, U.S. District Court of Florida Middle District, and U.S. District Court of Florida Southern District.
I come before you guys today. I put in my application for to be a public defender once more. I did it again, or I did it before a year ago, and candidly, I loved it. I love Pahrump. My grandma lives out here. We own land out here. We have a trailer out here. I like Nye County. It's way easier to practice in Nye County than it is in Clark County. But the issue I ran into, it was the caseload, candidly. But I didn't realize that I could bring on another attorney who can help me work the caseload, which I have Carl Shelton, who applied with DIDS recently, so I don't know if his stuff is through yet. But he's a 10-year civil litigator, and he's willing to help me with the caseload.
I'm an attorney. I've been an attorney since I was sworn in September of 2000. Started my practice doing construction defect cases, and been doing a lot of criminal defense and some criminal prosecution for the last few months. I was a public defender in White Pine County and enjoyed that work and loved it until there was an argument between White Pine County and the state of Nevada. They had the contract. They would not renew the contract, so everyone had to scramble. I've been in various law firms handling criminal defense as well as other cases, civil cases as well. I've had several bench trials. I haven't had any jury trials. The most I've been both sides of the aisle. I've been a deputy DA as well as a public defender. I prefer the defense side.
My motion would be to appoint both Alexis Decker and Kelly Blatnick to fill these positions.
Second.
Okay, then I'll call for the vote at this time.
Boscovich is aye.
Aye. Aye.
Or is aye?
Bonnie's aye.
Okay. Passes 5-0.
Tommy, our woofing reporter, and the rest of the News 25 crew will be back after this break.
You're watching News 25, the most recognized and farthest-reaching local news in Nye County. News 25, local news you can count on.
Welcome back to News 25. According to the Nevada Department of Employment, Training, and Rehabilitation's December 2022 economic report, the state's seasonally adjusted unemployment rate was 5.2% in December 2022, which increased by 0.3% from November 2022. Seasonally adjusted estimates account for regularly seen economic patterns, with the following estimates not seasonally adjusted. In the three metropolitan statistical areas, the unemployment rates were 5.4% in Las Vegas, 3.4% in Reno, and 3.9% in the Carson City area in December 2022. In Nevada's counties, the lowest unemployment rate was in Lander County at 2.7%, and Nye County had the highest rate at 5.7%.
Well, the Nevada Division of State Parks is pleased to announce the availability of approximately $1 million in federal funds for outdoor recreation development and acquisition projects through the Land Water Conservation Program. All local governments, including counties, cities, towns, general improvement districts, and Native American tribal governments, are potentially eligible for the 50-50 matching grants offered through the program. The Land Water Conservation Fund Act of 1964 was enacted to safeguard our natural areas, water resources, and cultural heritage, and provide recreation opportunities to all Americans through the development of public outdoor recreation areas and facilities. Previously, Previous projects have included acquisition of the Ham property in Carson City, development and construction of the Spooner Lake Visitor Center and amphitheater in Lake Tahoe, replacement of the obsolete pool filtration and heating system in Lyon Park in Hawthorne, installation of JC Inclusive Playground in Las Vegas, and the development of Kellogg Park here in Pahrump. The application package and grant manual are available online at WebGrants Nevada State Parks. That's nvparks.webgrants.cloud.com. The due date for the grant applications is March 27th, 2023 by 5 p.m. or call 775-684-2775.
Well, Ryan Sanders appears in court again this week, this time to face the judge regarding a probation violation hearing.
Defendant Ryan Sanders appeared in district court with Judge Robert Lane this week for an evidentiary hearing for a probation violation. Sanders was represented by attorney Jaharna Shahani. Shahani requested that Judge Lane move Sanders' probation hearing out at least 6 weeks. The underlying violation that caused this matter to be brought forward has been continued. Sanders was on probation for burglary, vehicle theft, and possession, child neglect, assault, possessed stolen property, grand larceny, fraud, and possession of controlled substances.
Yes, Your Honor. He's on for an evidentiary hearing regarding a probation violation. The underlying matter that caused the violation, the preliminary hearing on that has been continued, which is why the parties agreed to continue this matter as well.
Okay. Does he want to waive his Fifth Amendment rights, just admit everything? And
Absolutely not, Your Honor.
2 weeks, 4 weeks, 2 months, 3 months?
I think the prelim will be is going to be set in 6 weeks.
Okay.
So if we have a date after that, Your Honor, that would be
All right,
great.
so we're end of January, end of February, end of March. End of March is March 27th.
Could we go one more week after that so we're not, I'm sorry, Your Honor, only because I don't want to.
April, I don't care.
Okay.
April 10th,
Thank you,
0900.
Your Honor.
Sanders was recently arrested and is facing charges of kidnapping in the first degree, attempted murder, false imprisonment, burglary, grand larceny of a motor vehicle, attempted sexual assault, battery with substantial bodily harm after he and his alleged accomplice, Richard Duncan, kidnapped and sexually assaulted his boss's mother after he was terminated from his employment. The 74-year-old was severely beaten and left for dead after being kidnapped from her home in the middle of the night. She was repeatedly sexually assaulted and beaten with a fence post this last November. Duncan was arrested quickly after the attack. It took a manhunt involving local, state, and federal authorities to locate and capture Sanders and his 13-year-old son he had been hiding out with in a trailer off Elderberry Street here in Pahrump. The upcoming trial date has not been set for Duncan and Sanders in that case. Judge Lane has continued the evidentiary hearing for the probation violation on the previous cases until April 10th at 9 a.m. And a driver was arrested after he told police he thought Mountain Falls Parkway was a roadway that he could try out his driving skills out on over the weekend. It turned out he wasn't able to control the vehicle very well around the bend in the neighborhood that has a speed limit of 35 miles per hour.
On January 20th of this year, local authorities responded to a single vehicle rollover at Mountain Falls Boulevard and Mountain Falls Parkway in Pahrump. As deputies arrived on scene, they made contact with a subject later identified as Daniel Anderson. According to the declaration of arrest, Anderson allegedly admitted to police he was driving the vehicle involved in the crash. In the arrest report, officers observed Anderson to have dilated pupils, was paranoid, and very anxious, consistent with being under the influence of a controlled substance. The driver admitted he was driving over 100 miles per hour in a race and believed people were following him. In the police arrest report, Anderson lost control of the vehicle and hit a tree in the center median, causing the vehicle to roll over on its roof, and admitted to law enforcement to smoking methamphetamine at noontime that day. The driver was subsequently arrested and transported to the Nye County Detention Center for the alleged crimes of driving under the influence and reckless driving.
And we'll tell you how you can help a family raise funds after a tragic rollover crash. We'll be right back.
You're watching News 25, brought to you by Mountain West Lawyer, Injury Attorneys, 727-9500. News 25, local news you can count on.
Welcome back. Well, a GoFundMe page is started after several people are severely injured as a result of a tragic rollover crash that occurred on Gamebird Road last Thursday afternoon. One person is facing charges in connection with that crash.
Nye County Sheriff's deputies, Pahrump Valley Fire and Rescue, and Sheriff's Auxiliary were dispatched to the intersection of Leslie Street and Gamebird Road on a report of a single vehicle crash on Thursday afternoon, January 19th of this year. When officials arrived on scene, they saw an SUV on its side on the north easement of Gamebird Road. Police made contact with the male driver, later identified as Ezra Paschal, who told officers he was allegedly off-roading in the desert with the SUV when the vehicle hit a deep patch of mud and overturned. In the officer's declaration of arrest, the driver's words were slightly slurred and also observed an open bottle of Jägermeister, an alcoholic beverage. In the arrest report, Paschal consented to law enforcement he would perform field sobriety tests. During the performance of the sobriety tests, the male failed all 3 tests and was subsequently arrested for DUI. During the search incident to arrest, authorities located an empty alcohol shooter in the suspect's pocket. News 25 caught up with Pahrump Valley Fire Chief Scott Lewis, who confirmed there were 2 occupants that were ejected from the vehicle and a total of 5 occupants who were transported by ground ambulance to Desert View Hospital because Mercy Air flight was unavailable at the time of the crash. According to the police declaration, hospital staff reported multiple injuries were suffered as a result of the crash. One person received multiple spinal fractures and a ruptured spleen. Another person had a broken leg and ankle, and another had a broken neck and clavicle. Additionally, officers report charging the driver with 4 counts of child endangerment, causing all children under the age of 18 to suffer unjustifiable physical pain and mental suffering as a result of the crash. Deputies placed Paschal under arrest and transported him to the Nye County Detention Center for the alleged charges of 3 counts of DUI with substantial bodily harm, 4 counts of child endangerment. Paschal has a bail amount of $70,000.
Well, when temperatures tumble, it only takes a matter of minutes before you're at risk for frostbite. According to Cleveland Clinic's Dr. Andrew Yoakum, frostbite can become serious and irreversible if not caught early.
Prevention is key in frostbite. You need to, first off, when you're going out into the environment, think very deliberately about what you're going to wear, what you need to protect from, or do you even need to go out? You know, in the cold snaps that we've had in the last few years.
Frostbite can occur when the temperature falls below 31 degrees. The body tissues freeze, feeling like a cold burn. Painful prickling turns into a throbbing sensation, and the nerves may go numb. This can cause permanent damage to the skin. Dr. Yoakum says exposed extremities are more at risk because they receive lower blood flow. He suggests dressing in layers and wearing good footwear to help protect fingers and toes. While everyone is susceptible to frostbite, the most at risk are those who work outside or may be more vulnerable, like the elderly or very young.
Kids are out, sled riding or playing in the snow. They're not thinking about frostbite. So at some point in time, you have to step in and say, okay, I think we've been out here long enough. We don't want to end up in that situation. Let's check you out, take a little break, warm up inside before, we go down that road.
And Dr. Yoakum says if you notice your skin becoming discolored, white, hard, or leathery, get out of the cold quickly and begin passive rewarming. Be careful if you're using water when numb. It may be too difficult to tell the actual temperature, and you don't want to burn your skin any further. When in doubt, don't hesitate to go to the hospital to be checked out.
News 25 WeatherCam is brought to you by Lerner and Rowe Injury Attorney's Office in Pahrump. In a wreck, need a check? Call 702-877-1500.
Wow, the weather outside is going all over the place, right?
It is, but we caught a nice day today. Lots of sunshine, still a nip in the air. Your temperatures after this break.
News 25 weather is brought to you by Dairy Council of Nevada. The splash of cream in your coffee, the dollop of sour cream on your burrito, the melted toasty cheese on your pizza. Undeniably delicious, undeniably dairy. Enjoy what's real.
Hi, good evening, Nevada. It's John Kohler from the KPVM Channel 25 Weather Studio and worldwide on the local BTV app, the app you need on your phone in 2023. All right, I'm going to keep saying it until you do it. 38 degrees out there in Fernley, Fallon, and Carson City, tied at 39. Tonopah, 37 degrees, very nice. Goldfield all the way up to 40. Woo, look at you go. 54 in Beatty, 61 in Amarillo. So that's, I guess, the state's hot spot today, as it is so often. Las Vegas saw 57 and 70 big burly desert degrees out there in Death Valley, California. But here in the paradise of Prump, let's take a look. 51 degrees. That's our current temperature. I guess we're kind of tied for the second place. I don't know, 57 degrees was our high earlier. 26% humidity, kind, very nice. Winds out of the north to just 7 miles per hour. I'm still picking the neighbor's stuff out of my yard. Sun rose this morning at 6:50 a.m. and set this evening at 5:01. You can still see some of the clouds as they are, in the sunset. It's beautiful right now, actually. Kind of burnt amber. 33 degrees is where we're heading tonight. Northeasterly winds to 5 miles per hour, and 46% humidity makes it almost seem like it should be cloudy tomorrow, but look, sunshine next 4 days. Very wonderful weather, actually, and it's sort of not very much varied. It looks like 57 degrees is the average through the weekend, and then Sunday we're picking up a little bit of cloud cover and a rain system coming in starting about Monday, Tuesday. We're going to see some sprinkles, some winds kicking up a little bit, not too much, so that's good news. We'll have some rain, but maybe it won't be going into our ear hole. That'll be great. All right, make your plans for a beautiful weekend. Back to the desk. Here's Deanna.
Thanks so much, John. So what are you doing this weekend? You want to go to a party?
Yes, I'm going to go to a party. Actually, it's going to be this Saturday from 10 to 4. I think the weather's going to be pretty good for it, right?
Should be.
All right, so that's going to be at Nature Health Farms. And here it's Alex's big birthday party, but it's a petting zoo.
Llamas.
They have CBDs. They're even having a celebrity auction. And there's going to be all sorts of things, bands, all sorts of entertainment. You can buy your tickets now by going to NH Farms on Facebook. And they're also on Instagram as well. And find out more about buying your tickets. There's so many different things that are going on, including hot air balloon rides, food, so much fun. 10 to 4 this Saturday. Find out more about going to NH Farms. They're right there on Bernard Street. It's going to be so much fun.
Yeah, see you all there.
All right, well, that's going to wrap up this edition of News 25. I'm Deanna O'Donnell.
And I'm Unette Gentry, and from all of us here at KPVM and 8th Country Radio, we'll see you next newscast.
Good night.
Good night.